Hey there, guys. This is Mark Nix from Cool Hand Luke, and I want to thank you for your kindness and your support to Cool Hand Luke and to helping the new album Cora see the light of day. I'm really excited for you to hear it. I thought it might be interesting to at least some of you to know about the songwriting process. It's quite a bit different now than it used to be back in the day because for the early records, it was Brandon and Jason and me, or Brandon and Chris and me, just in a room. Sometimes we brought ideas in, sometimes we just messed around until we figured stuff out. But we would literally, when we were writing, practice for like 8 hours a day, kind of hashing stuff out together. But it's quite a bit different now because it's mostly just me. And so I was going to show you some of the tools of the trade. One of them is the tool that I'm holding in my hand, so I can't show it to you, but it's my phone. Because when I get a melody or a bass line or a drum part or whatever, I will kind of sing a voicemail to myself, which is pretty common. You've probably heard of that before. And if you're a musician, you probably do that yourself. Sometimes it's actually me playing like an acoustic piano and just recording it, or guitar. Sometimes I'm humming something. Usually I'm in my car, or like I'm trying to do it really quiet in the middle of the grocery store or something. I used to think if a good idea came to me, that if it was good enough, I would just remember it. I've realized that's totally not how it works for me. So when I get an idea, I try to like record it somehow, and it always sounds stupid. I would be very embarrassed for you to hear my voice memos, but it's just enough to kind of like trigger my memory. And they always have stupid names. Like, it's just something that, they're not even practical names like bass part for chorus of this song. It's usually like lightning juice, or, something stupid. I don't know why. That's how I do things. But it usually starts there, with an idea hummed into my phone or strummed into my phone or whatever. And then I will go to my computer. So today I'm going to show you my little computer. This is the case. It's a MacBook Pro. And I use Logic. So when we record here at the studio, we use Pro Tools. But for demoing, I use Logic. So I actually pulled up a real song that will be on the album, and it's called I Will, I Won't. Can you see that? Yes. And again, when I'm working on a song, like I usually don't name a song until the very last minute, so it usually has a really stupid name. This is one of the few songs that is actually, the demo is what it ended up being called. So I will come up with parts in my head. I usually do drums and bass and guitar all MIDI, because I can do that in a coffee shop. I can do that late at night. And honestly, I don't have great mics and audio gear just at my house. I have really cheap stuff. So this has been a great tool for me. Sometimes I will use a MIDI controller like this. I'm at the studio right now. At my house, I have a Kurzweil what is it called? PC88? Something 88. It's a 88 key weighted keyboard that feels kind of real. So when I'm recording a MIDI piano part, that's usually what I'll use. I also sometimes will just use this function. You can do Apple K. It's not even called Apple anymore. It's called Command K, and it'll pull up a little keyboard here, and I'll just do that, especially if it's a bass part or something like that. I do have a bass at home, but sometimes it's easier to do it in MIDI, even though it'll sound kind of dumb, because I'm not a great bass player or guitar player. And so honestly, these demos usually sound kind of stupid, but it's just to get the idea across. And the funny thing is, a lot of times I will do the demo thinking I'm not going to use any of this, and then we do actually end up using some of it, uh, because either we just get used to the way it sounds, or we decide we like it, or we don't come up with anything better, or we run out of time. That's not really the case. So, anyway, that's my songwriting process as far as music goes, and I almost always write music before words. Words are one of the last things to come, and words are very important to me, but I also find it a very tedious process. Um, so maybe in another video I'll talk about, the themes behind lyrics and things like that. But music usually comes first. Sometimes melodies with it, but even it's almost like I'm more concerned with how a song makes me feel than the actual parts. I kind of hear textures and finished products and figure out how to get to that rather than like tinkering around and finding a part that I like. Um, so that's how I do things. It's weird. And I think it's been probably a weird process for Brandon too, because it's not like a band coming in and setting up and playing. It's like me exporting a bunch of files and saying, hey, can you learn this bass part and play it for real? But it has worked. It's been a fun learning process for both of us, I think. And I'm very pleased with the outcome, which I can't wait to share with you. We have one song called Sing For You that you can get on Noise Trade for free, or if you want to pay something, you can. If you want a little taste of what Cora will sound like. And my hope is you will like it enough to want to support this Kickstarter. And if you already have, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really excited for you guys to hear this. And that's all I have to say about songwriting. Love you, mean it. May God bless you. Thanks.